By the time 2026 rolled around, it quietly changed the whole vibe around Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Suddenly, this sequel didn't feel far away anymore. It's officially next year territory, and Paramount has already locked in a theatrical release date of March 19th, 2027. There were earlier industry whispers about a late December 2027 slot, which explains why that date keeps popping up online, but as of now, March is the one to watch. Either way, the message is clear: Sonic is not slowing down. If anything, this fourth movie looks like it's about to go bigger than anything the franchise has done so far, with reports pointing to a noticeably higher budget and a much larger scale. Jeff Fowler is back in the director's chair once again, which honestly matters more than people realize. He's been the consistent creative backbone of this entire cinematic universe, and that consistency is a huge reason these movies work. Sonic 4 will reunite Sonic with Tails, Knuckles, and the rest of Team Sonic, and judging by how Sonic 3 ended, the story is about to expand way beyond simple good versus evil road trip chaos. The announcement of Sonic 4 came only weeks after Sonic 3 raced into theaters in December 2024, and that timing alone tells you Paramount is extremely confident in this franchise. Sonic 3 wrapped up its main story with Team Sonic surviving the chaos and Robotnik seemingly dying in the explosion of the Eclipse cannon. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Tom, and Maddie all make it out alive. The world is saved again, and it feels like a conclusion. But then the credits hit, and everything changes. The mid-credits scene introduces Amy Rose for the first time, alongside an entire army of Metal Sonics, immediately setting the stage for something much bigger. Then, the post-credits scene drops its final tease, revealing that Shadow survived. We never see his face, but the shoes and the gold wrist inhibitor cuff are unmistakable. He pulls it from a crater, and just like that, Shadow is officially still in play. That ending alone opens up multiple directions for Sonic 4. One obvious path is a full-on war against a Metal Sonic army, which would already be a massive escalation. Amy feels like a guaranteed ally here, but Shadow's role is way more complicated. He spent most of Sonic 3 as an antagonist before ultimately helping save the planet. Whether he stays on the hero side, drifts into anti-hero territory, or goes his own way entirely is still up in the air, and that uncertainty is part of what makes his return so interesting. The writers, Pat Casey and Josh Miller, have already hinted that Amy was originally planned to have a much bigger role in Sonic 3 beyond the brief tease we got. They've openly said they have a strong long-term plan, which lines up with how carefully these post-credit scenes are being used. Nothing here feels accidental. Then there's Robotnik. Yes, he appeared to die in Sonic 3, but no body was ever shown. And in movie logic, that's basically an open invitation for a comeback. Leaked concept art from Sonic 3 adds even more fuel to that idea. Some of that unused artwork showed hints of parallel universes and time travel, including imagery of Metal Sonic standing beside an imposing Emperor Eggman. Those ideas were cut from the third film, but they didn't disappear. If anything, it looks like they were saved for Sonic 4. That's where Sonic CD enters the conversation. Sonic 3 loosely pulled from Sonic Adventure 2, and following that pattern, Sonic 4 lining up with Sonic CD makes a lot of sense. In that 1993 game, Sonic races through different points in time to prevent a bad future ruled by Eggman and enforced by Metal Sonic. Time stones, alternate timelines, dystopian futures, all of that fits perfectly with what's being teased right now. Recent reports even claim Sonic 4 will have a larger budget than the previous films, which makes these more ambitious ideas far more believable. Paramount hasn't released an official cast list yet, but some returns feel basically locked in. Ben Schwartz is Sonic, no debate there. James Marsden and Tika Sumpter are expected back as Tom and Maddie, the human heart of the series. Idris Elba's Knuckles and Colleen O'Shaughnessy's Tails round out the core team. That foundation isn't changing. The villain side is where things get interesting. Jim Carrey's Robotnik may be dead, but his absence would leave a massive hole. Carrey has been the face of this franchise's chaos since the beginning, and while he talked about retiring back in 2022, that retirement didn't last. He returned for Sonic 3 in 2024 and later said in interviews that he'd be open to coming back again if the story felt right. That alone was enough to send the fandom into overdrive. Add in the fact that Sonic 3 also introduced Gerald Robotnik, and suddenly time travel, alternate versions, and multiverse shenanigans feel very intentional. One especially wild theory suggests that the mysterious Emperor Eggman seen in leaked concept art isn't Eggman at all. Some fans believe it could actually be Neo Metal Sonic. In Sonic Heroes, Neo Metal Sonic is an upgraded evolution of Metal Sonic, capable of copying abilities, manipulating others, and even disguising himself as Eggman. If Sonic 4 pulled a twist where the ultimate ruler of a dystopian future turned out to be Neo Metal Sonic all along, it would be one of the boldest moves the franchise has ever made. Amy Rose is also shaping up to be far more than just a supporting character. The post-credits tease from Sonic 3 framed her as a capable fighter, and leaks suggest she could be positioned as a leader in a Resistance-style storyline, possibly from a ruined future timeline. Paramount is reportedly looking at major names for her casting, similar to how Keanu Reeves was brought in as Shadow. Jeff Fowler has confirmed they're testing different directions for the character, whether that leans more into Amy's classic emotional side or reimagines her as a battle-hardened hero trying to fix a broken timeline. And once time travel is on the table, one character becomes impossible to ignore: Silver the Hedgehog. In the games, Silver is a telekinetic hero from the future who jumps across timelines to prevent catastrophe. If Sonic 4 truly dives into time manipulation, Silver feels less like a question of if and more like a question of when. Even a brief post-credits tease would be enough to set up Sonic 5. Through all of this, it's important to remember the tone. Sonic 4 isn't suddenly going to become dark or grim. These movies thrive on being fun, energetic, and family-friendly, with just enough emotional depth to hook longtime fans. That formula works, and Paramount has zero incentive to abandon it. The trilogy already ranks among the highest-grossing video game adaptations ever, turning Sonic into one of the studio's biggest moneymakers. Production is expected to kick off sometime in early 2026, though with effects-heavy projects like this, delays are always possible. Still, a 2027 release window feels realistic. The script is already in development, and the creative team is reportedly mapping out new worlds, designs, and massive set pieces. Just like Sonic Adventure 2 ended up being the blueprint for Sonic 3, all signs point to Sonic CD, with elements of Sonic Heroes guiding the direction this time. Shadow remains one of the biggest wildcards. His survival at the end of Sonic 3 guarantees he hasn't been shelved, but whether he plays a major role in Sonic 4 or spins off into his own project is still unknown. There's heavy speculation about a Shadow solo movie, or even a limited series for Paramount+, and honestly, that makes sense. Shadow's story is darker, more tragic, and more complex than most characters in this universe. He's not just Sonic's edgy rival. He's a lab-created experiment haunted by loss and purpose, and that depth is hard to fully explore in a single ensemble film. A standalone project could flesh him out before he re-enters the main saga in a bigger way. At the end of the day, Sonic the Hedgehog 4 doesn't feel like just another sequel. It feels like a turning point. Between time travel, alternate futures, Metal Sonic, Amy stepping into the spotlight, and the lingering presence of Shadow and Robotnik, the franchise is clearly evolving. If Sonic 4 even comes close to Sonic 3's box office success, a fifth movie is basically guaranteed, and beyond that, the possibilities just keep expanding. This universe has barely scratched the surface of its own lore, and whatever direction Sonic 4 takes, it's setting the pace for everything that comes next.